Okay, this video is called Who Are the Best Dating Coaches? And this guy right here is the best introductory dating coach for men, young men. This is Casey Zander. He gives you the big picture of how to act around women and how women manipulate you. This is called the Female Manipulation Matrix. And by the way, a lot of women don't like this because they criticize women a lot. They talk about how women really behave. In modern American society, everything's been extremely feminized since the days when I was young. And women are always talked about as if they're so good. The reality is women lie and play games all the time, all day long, okay? They do it much more so than men do. Men are much more honest in relationships than women are. So if you're a guy, you need to understand how women behave so you don't waste your time. One important concept is IOIs and IODs, indicators of interest and indicators of disinterest. If a woman likes you, she will give you IOIs, indicators of interest. If she doesn't like you or simply just isn't interested in talking to you, she'll give you IODs. And you want to learn these things so you can pick up on them real quick so you don't waste your time flirting with a woman or talking to a woman who's not interested in you. As a matter of fact, if a woman likes a guy, he can say or do pretty much anything around her. He can call her fat, he can tease her, he can do whatever he wants. Versus if she doesn't like the guy, he could say some minor things. She could be all offended and make a big fuss, make a big scene. So you need to know, does she like you or not? And you just have to be aware of her. They're called IOIs and IODs, indicators of interest, indicators of disinterest. If she's giving you IODs, do not waste your time talking to her. Okay, so anyways, watch Casey Zander to get started. He'll set you straight on the right way to understand women. And then the next one to watch is this guy. This guy is a lot more sophisticated than Casey Zander. This is Alexander Grace. He's very smart and he analyzes things in great detail, and he's very accurate about how women behave, what they really mean, what they're really up to. And you want to watch him because then you'll really understand things a lot better. And he tells the truth, okay? I'm going to show you some female dating coaches as well here. Those are the two best male dating coaches. This one is Pearl. I became interested in all this stuff. First of all, I read all the old literature a long, long time ago, back when I was a single guy. And then, I read I'll show you those guys later, but these are the more modern people here. So this is Pearl. She's real honest. She's constantly analyzing relationships. She's very, very smart, and she puts things real accurate for you. So you'll get it. You'll get how women behave, how they think, and you want to know that because it makes you less likely to get chumped or to waste your time. If you're pursuing a woman who doesn't like you, she'll lead you on for years. She likes the entertainment. She likes the attention, but she's never going to be interested in you. You're wasting your time. And I've had things in my life where there was a good woman who really liked me, and I wasn't that interested in her, and I was pursuing some other woman who didn't like me, and I wasted about a year pursuing this woman. And the good one who I should have gone with just gave up on me and was annoyed. And so I didn't understand what was happening. Her name is Lauren, and she gives good advice about marriage and relationships and how to be and all that stuff, so she's good. There's a bunch of other good ones too. I don't have time to go through all of them, but I'm just telling you, this stuff is valuable information. I'm also going to tell you, the college professors, they all stink. There's no such thing as a college professor, college psychologist that's even okay. They all stink because the colleges are all run by left-wing, commies basically. And they hate men. They especially hate white Christian men. And they want everybody to be single. They want all the babies to be bumped off, get an AB. You know what I'm saying? They are the worst people in the world to have as dating coaches. They can't even tell the difference between a man and a woman. They'll tell you, I don't know what the difference is between a man and a woman. All that craziness, okay? So don't even waste your time. If the guy's a professor at a college, don't even read his book. It's going to stink. Because I've read tons and tons of stuff on this subject, and I tell you, all the college professors are worthless. Any psychologist is worthless. They're going to tell you they don't know the difference between a man and a woman. Well, how are you going to give relationship advice? Everybody knows men and women are different. That's been known since the beginning of recorded time. I just want to give you a little history on these guys. Here's a book called The Mystery Method, which was very popular many years ago. This guy right here is Eric von Markovic, and he's the author of the book. He calls himself Mystery. And he did some good things. What I'll give him credit for is he sort of invented a whole vocabulary. So he says a typical chump, the typical guy is an AFC, average frustrated chump. Okay, and then he defined men. You can be an alpha man, you can be a beta man, you can be a epsilon sigma, whatever. Okay, he did have a lot of good lingo. All right, but one of the realities is he's tall. He described himself as being 6'5". I don't think he's that tall, but he's very tall. And the relevance is that women just love tall guys. As soon as a man walks in a room, if he's tall, that stands out. And what I've seen is a guy who's tall, women just throw themselves at them. Because I know a bunch of tall guys, and I've seen these guys have 5, 6 girlfriends. I've had friends with these tall guys, and they tell me, they just meet a girl in a bar, and then they have sex with her that same night. They didn't even know her at all. Okay, versus a regular guy, a bar is like a terrible place for me. In a bar, I'm nobody, I'm only 5'9". I just stand there and I'm average looking. So it's of zero value to me. I'll never in a million years. And also the kind of women you meet at the bars are not the kind of women you want to meet. So what every guy should do is find out what environment is good for him. It has to be an environment where there's women around, because you have to meet them in order to start a relationship. A lot of guys are in these busy academic environments where there's no women or no attractive women, or so few attractive women that they're out competed for them. So you got to be somewhere where there's more women around. And then you want to be in an environment that emphasizes whatever it is that you're good at, you're high status at. If you're a good dancer, then it's good to be in a place where you dance. A good singer, be a place where you sing. But if you're good at academics, then be in an academic place. Wherever you stand out, that's the best place for you to be, where there's also women around, okay? And there's a lot of other things too. This is sort of a more modern thing. I don't like all this male feminization stuff. So he's wearing a ring, but it's not a wedding ring. He's wearing earrings like a woman. He's dressed kind of like a woman. This guy's got his hair dyed blonde. I think it looks terrible. When a man dyes his hair blonde, it always looks fake, and he looks insecure, and it looks terrible. And he's wearing a bunch of rings like a confused woman. I think that's a terrible way to look, okay? So I don't, because again, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to prove that you're crazy or that you're fun? Or are you trying to prove long-term you're a good man? And I think the best approach is the long-term picture, just be a good man. This guy wrote a famous book as well. This is Neil Strauss, and he wrote a book called The Game. And this also goes over all that lingo. There's this whole elaborate lingo of communication. Most of it you don't need, but you should know. You need to know your SMV, your sexual market value, because that determines whether or not a woman's going to be attracted to you to some extent. Because the man, he thinks she's pretty, he thinks she looks nice. That's sort of like where he's coming from right at the beginning. Whereas a woman's got this whole elaborate evaluation. They evaluate men much more carefully than men evaluate women. She wants to know, can he support me? Does he make money? Is he high status? Can he help me get a job? She's thinking, what can you do for me? I've had women literally tell me they won't have sex with a man unless he can do something for them. Either pay their bills or help them to get a job, help them to get promoted, teach them a skill. And I've had girlfriends like that. I dated some female doctors when I was young, and the main thing they wanted me was to teach them all this medical stuff because I was really good at teaching medical stuff. As a guy, I didn't care why the woman liked me. I was just glad she liked me. But I also went through phases where, like in high school, I was a really good athlete. So lots of women liked me because I was popular and I was a great athlete. But then I went to college, and at Stanford, 9 out of 10 California girls are pretty, and the 10th one goes to Stanford. So a woman who's like a 5 all of a sudden becomes like a 10. And I never dated a single girl at Stanford, not one. And I was kind of shocked by that. So my SMV from high school to college took a giant nosedive. Then I went to med school, and it's in a ghetto area, so there were no social events and not hardly any attractive women in our class. So I never dated a med school girl either. I dated one of my professors, actually. She was actually pretty nice. And I went back with my old girlfriend for a while, and she was nice. But I was single vast majority of the time. I didn't like that. Anyways, what I'm trying to tell you is you got to be somewhere where there's women, and you have to know what your SMV is. And men, when they're young, men about from 18 years of age to about 25 are often very, very lonely, incels, involuntary celibates, because the women's peak SMV is about 24 years of age, whereas the guy's SMV is not going to peak till he's about 44 years of age. So she's interested in older guys who can support her, et cetera, buy her a house or something. So the guy often has a long dry spell, and they're really pissed off and frustrated by that. Understandably so, but it's just common, it's normal. Okay, and then here's a kind of guy, like some guys will recommend this type of guy to me, and I'm telling you, I didn't ever watch his videos. I don't know anything about this guy, but I don't like the way he looks. In my opinion, I'm an old, sophisticated academic scholar guy. I don't like tattoos. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's a good reason for a young guy to have a tattoo. There's never a good reason for a woman to have a tattoo. Wearing bracelets like a woman. He wears earrings like a woman. He's got long hair like a woman. Wears like a pinky ring. That's kind of low life. What I'm trying to say is the idea is not to just seduce a woman at a bar, some low life, sleaze. The idea is find the best possible woman that you can attract, that you think you'd be happy with long term. And so a lot of what it is just make yourself higher SMV, if you will. Get more educated, learn how to get a better job, and be sophisticated in your conversation ability. Learn how to talk to women. You basically always be nice to them, but don't ever kiss their ass. Don't ever show excessive interest in them. And the fact that you're kind of aloof and you could take it or leave it, that makes you a lot more attractive. There's certainly more to it than that. And there's a lot of other good dating coaches who I just don't have time to get to. I'm not an expert in this. I'm a happily married man now, so I don't do this stuff anymore. But I know I get questions. Viewers ask me questions about this all the time. So I make some of these videos just because I know my viewers want to see it. And I do think it's funny. And I did watch all these guys in the past, and I did learn a lot from them. So anyways, I hope you find this helpful.